Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. Today, we have another great guest for you. We have Jennifer Neal. Now, Jennifer, she's a digital marketer. Not only that, a content activation expert. You're thinking, what the heck is that? And wait till you hear this. So please welcome up Jen.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Contact.
I know when you give that kind of a title, everyone's going to go, but there is so much to it. So first, tell us what that means. What does your title mean?
Awesome. Okay, so content activation is a term that honestly, I thought I developed it. Turns out it's actually an existing term, and what's really a happy accident is what I thought it meant is actually what it means. So hey, happy accident. But what it really means is basically making the most of the content that you're putting out there, and making it work for you in a revenue generating way. That's
pretty simple.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into doing what you do? What prompted all that?
Okay, I'll give you the super short, almost 30-year version. So I started off as a graphic designer. I worked in corporate America for 15 years of my life or so. And during that time was when things started coming out. So websites started coming out, social media started coming out, right? So I learned all of these things along the way. And then I exited corporate and started my own agency here about 13, 14 years ago. And I was doing graphic design and things like that. I also wanted to make sure that I was able to show ROI for my customers. So I got involved in building Infusionsoft systems and websites and all these automations and super nerdy things, right? And then I realized that it was just every customer was a different project. And so about 5 years ago, I said, we're going to niche down our services and we're only going to focus on one thing. So if I only had to focus on one thing, what was that thing going to be? And so I really spent a lot of time looking at past customers that I had worked with that were successful. And what it really came down to was consistent lead generation. And so that's where we landed, was in lead generation. And at the same time, I had also personally lost over about $43,000 on Facebook ads with a $12,000 return. And I was like, there has to be a better way. There really has to be a better way for digital marketers. And that's where content activation was born, because I just looked at how does traffic flow online? How can we get cheaper, more qualified traffic? And that's what it's all about.
Nice. And who are your primary clients nowadays?
Oh, yeah. So mostly we like to work with coaches, course creators, authors, podcasters, anybody creating consistent content online. And we also really like to work with heart-centered and driven entrepreneurs, because we know they're good peeps, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I teach classes like ABCs of starting a business, and I always go, it's asterisk time, and everyone looks at me like, what? And I go, I'm teaching you all this for good, not evil. Okay.
Right. Yes, that is so true.
Go build an evil empire and say, you learned everything from me. Please don't be that guy.
Right? It's true, because there are things that you do, and I know things that you can do with content that make it work, right?
Right.
And yeah, in the wrong hands, let's just be ethical. Let's just agree.
Absolutely. And it Just don't be that person, please.
Yeah.
We all
Yep.
know what we're talking about. So can you give us a way, like a small business owner, so they're putting out content, maybe they're doing like, videos or a podcast,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
they come to you and they're like, hey, I do a podcast. And you're like, uh-huh. What would you like to do next, right? Well, I want leads, right? That'll probably be their next question. Can you give us like an idea, like how walk them through a process?
Absolutely. And the cool thing about this is the same process, whether you want to do it yourself or we have, do it yourself, done with you and done for you systems.
Wow.
But either way, it's the exact same process. And what that comes down to is there's tons and tons and tons of traffic online, right? And we're always trying to figure out, like, how do I stand out online? And so for a lot of people, it's JV relationships, it's booking podcasts, it's like, I want to get as much exposure as possible. Sometimes you're also like, okay, I hate social media. Most people hate social media, myself included. But it is where a lot of people are hanging out and you can target them, right? So it's kind of this necessary evil that we all love to hate. And so it's like, how do I get all my stuff out there? And so content repurposing comes into play. The downside of content repurposing is a couple of things. One, if you're just repurposing content that was never really engaging to begin with, then you just created a bunch of crap that's not going to be engaging and you're making it worse on yourself, right? And two, if you're not playing by the rules of the social media platform that you're on or wherever you're posting, you're actually hurting your social score. So you're training sort of these online traffic cops that your content is not going to be engaging and you're not really following their rules. So that's why people will end up seeing, oh, well, I post on Facebook all the time and it just doesn't work because nobody sees my stuff, right? So what I have found is if you post the way that you're like working, you're playing by the rules, right? And you're incorporating search technology, like search stuff, so that when people go Google search you, because nobody trusts social media anymore, and then you combine paid traffic with it, all those three things like work together and they actually help to elevate each other while also lowering your costs and increasing your connections. And the number one biggest way that you can play by the rules and make this work is to incorporate stories. Because when it all comes down to it, we're all online to connect with friends, to feel like we're part of a community, to be entertained, to like, we're there to engage in this thing called life. And if all you're doing is teaching and you're not sharing stories, then you're totally missing the boat.
Yeah, couldn't agree. It's so true. Yeah, play by the rules on your platform. I mean, on one platform, I did that SSI score, the social index. I know I can never remember what the acronym stands for, but you can find out your own on every platform. And I did it, and on one platform, it was showing I'm the top 1%. And I did it in front of a group showing them, hey, you got to go here. And it had the less than symbol 1%. And I'm like, and I looked down, I'm like, I'm on the top 0.10% top. And I was like, I didn't know that possible. And it's content and it's giving stories, it's giving, you're sharing and caring.
Yep.
And then on another platform, it's like, I'm not like that.
Right.
So
I
think I could still be banned. I don't know, for posting a real comment. So
it happens.
I agree with follow the rules of your website or the platform. You don't own it. Get your peeps off of your platform and get them on your stuff, like your newsletter, your emails, those kind of things. That's what you can control.
Yep, exactly.
What do you tell people when you hear that all the time? It's like, and I mean, when Facebook shut down for 3 days, I had a client who was doing 30,000 a day in sales.
Yeah.
Well, shut down for 3 days. It took them another year to build that pipeline back up to that level.
Yeah.
So what do you tell people when they think, oh, I only do this platform?
Um,
Good
I, I think you just explained it, but if you're, I
question.
think with anything, if you're focusing on just one way to get sales, it's very risky. It's super risky because anything can happen, especially when it's not your platform.
That's it.
You don't know, right? I mean, I'm literally working with a customer right now who this happened to her. She had just one platform, just one thing that she was doing. Somebody who didn't know what they were doing came in, ran a bunch of ads that violated a bunch of policies. All of her Facebook ad account, her page, her personal account, everything locked out. It's been now fast forward 3 years. So the lesson that she learned is now she has multiple different pages, and then she has multiple ad accounts. And at this point in time, she's currently advertising, and she has 2 different agencies working on ads for every platform, and all of them are on different things. And I think that doesn't all have to be ads. I'm just giving an ads example, but like you have to, it can't be just one. You got to spread it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I'm a big believer, know where your tribe is. So know where your target market is. There's certain markets I know if I went on a certain platform, everyone goes, well, there is your market there. Yeah, but it's so small. It's
right.
Insignificant. It's more work than because they can't find me and I'll never find them. Whereas other platforms, it's like, oh, wait, everywhere I go, it's like I feel like I'm in a crowded subway. I'm just bumping into my people.
Yep.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and listen to a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with Jen, and we're going to talk a little bit more about all this repurposing.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back with Jen. So we've been talking about don't build a house on borrowed land, basically. Don't put all your eggs in one basket on one platform. Spread it out. Don't just throw out educational stuff. Share your story. Give some relationship. Show them who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something my coach beat into me, I think 4 years ago. They said, own your quirkiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, that's really weird, but okay. And I just started owning it. And it was like, some people get it, some people don't. Life goes on. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have, oh my gosh, we have time for a quick story.
Yeah.
I love stories, right? I have a customer who he's a business coach, and he actually focuses a lot on kind of like lifestyle business coaching. And it's fantastic what he does. It's a very crowded market, and one of the things that makes him really unique is he's also a master astrologer, and he uses astrodice. And I'm like, that is super awesome, right? So it took me like 3 months. I finally convinced him to lead from that, and he is crushing it because he finally leaned into his quirkiness, right?
Yeah, I'm in a group of coaches for accountability, and one person drops an F-bomb, like there's no tomorrow. Like, that's my favorite word. And we're like, well, then own it. So she, for a while, like grasped it, and she started putting it on social media and everything else. Guess what? She's bringing her tribe out of the woodwork going, you're being authentic. And she goes, well, that's who I am. I've been hiding. Now I'm not.
Yeah. It's so awesome because the people that you like,
Yeah,
they're the ones that find you.
exactly.
Right?
I know.
Like, be this way on camera and be this robot and say these things. And it's like, it's not you. It doesn't work.
It's so true. Be you.
Yeah.
So I know business is always fun, especially starting your own businesses. What is a challenge? I'm always going to say a challenge or an obstacle that you had in your business that you had to overcome.
Okay. So a big one for me has been the good old work-life balance, right? So my husband is he's an engineer, and he is an employee, and he does not understand entrepreneurialism. Last year, I think it was last year. I think it was last year. We actually filed for divorce for about a month, and then we like unfiled. But a lot of it came down to it was this work-life balance. And so now I set myself a schedule, and I don't work past, this time at night, and like have to stick to that. And when I first did it, and when my therapist first made me do it, she's like, you have to do this. And I'm like, no, I can't. But you know what? The same amount of things get done, and I'm just less stressed, and I'm a happier person overall. But it was really hard to get to that place. Really hard.
Because, entrepreneurs, when they start their business, small business owners, they think they have to do everything. And they don't realize that there are people out in the world that are smarter in that, whatever that area is that you don't like. They're going to do whatever you need done in half the time and 1/10 of the cost.
Yep.
And meanwhile, I see it all the time. Business owner, I hate accounting. So then why are you doing it? Well,
right.
I don't want to pay someone. I go, well, it took you 30 hours to do this one form. It'll take them 10 minutes and it'll get done right. So
Yep.
Come on, let's do the math.
Yep. It is so true. And to this day, anytime I find myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go do this, right? I just start keeping a list, and like, okay, is this something that I'm going to be able to delegate? And every time I'm like, I hate this. Then I'm like, here's my next hire.
That's it. And that's a great litmus test for any business owner. Can I delegate it? Simple question. It's either yes or no. It's not a maybe. It's not I'll think about it. None of that. It's yes or no. If it's yes, get it off your dang plate now. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Yep.
I have a VA and I'm like, I know what I don't want to do. Can I do it? Yeah. Do I want to do it? No. Why? Because it's time consuming. But to them, they love this stuff. So fine, let them do it.
Yep. Yep.
So all of our guests kind of give away a cool gift to help our listeners in their business or in their life. What do you have to offer our guests? Our listeners?
Ooh, yes. I have the ultimate content repurposing guide. And this guide is it takes the same principles that I talked about with content activation, and it actually walks you through step by step the exact same steps and system that we go through for our $10,000 a month clients. Like you can literally take and swipe this entire thing, and it's designed to let you be able to fill your social content calendar in a month with just a couple hours worth of work. And it all comes back to stories and how to repurpose those.
See, folks, see how simple this is sometimes. And hey, if you're one of those people out there like, I don't want to do this, guess what? Jen, I'm sure she can help you out.
Yep, absolutely.
Just saying. But we will have the links for Jen's offer in the show notes. So take advantage of it. I mean, heck, it's free. And it's going to help grow your business. Come on. So,
yep.
Well, we're winding down on time. Any final words?
I just I'm actually just going to say, just don't overcomplicate it. Like anytime you're doing any kind of a meeting with somebody online, in person, whatever, just be yourself and incorporate stories, because people like to hear real examples and put themselves into a story. So that's it. I don't care if they're personal. It doesn't have to be business. Just tell stories.
Well, excellent. Jen, thank you so much for being our guest.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Steve.
Well, great. And folks, please, if you like Jen and other experts on this podcast, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel you are listening on. And I'm sure Jen would like to hear some positive feedback as well. So make sure you go ahead and comment as well while you're liking and subscribing to the podcast. I am Biz Coach Steve Feld, wishing you and your business much success.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.